저번에 저기 제발 요뭐 제발 가지. 어때 끼리지? 끼리지 잡도치 먹더니 사자는 봐도 깜대요지. 저를 뭐 저요래 잡아요 거기 저를 가서 가요 거네. 이 도마리 되나 이렇게 하면 뭐 제발이지. 끼리지는 이렇게 오면 가서 가는 연구요래. 걔는 세부대로 깨딱하면 탈 거 봐. 대하고도 뭐 있거든. 타도 담볼 라마 이제 받을 라마 깨차지 담발 라마가 샘인지 남부 세부대로 하고도 저는 서울 라마 중디 빼 라마래 중다 동디 라마 오랑 세부대로 또는 이게 랑 내로 시작되게 랑도가 라마노 봐 당기대 능지 카카라 하고 당능지 공식이 오래 유모가 또속이오래 제가 오 난글 라마지다 다도 잡는 도박가면 난글 사제지 되게 시랍래 되게 시랍이 맞아 쉬운 없대 제들 사지 쫑디디는 것도 새끼 넘는 상제니 대마치 제식 님도 로아용을 잡는 사지 겨 새끼 탐게 잡았다지 가시게 좋아요. 예수이 고 같이 야 나무는 나 사자이 고 매라고 있는 마시마 나무에 마시려 사자를 샘적 개로를 샘적 요래 요말 사지가 타지는 남바시 봐도 상계래 상계가 껴서 이 담계를 맞아가지고 남바를 서로 가사요 가지고 왜 샘대 용리도 노사 요말 고도 뽑아가 대답도 하고 라만 오니 그지 대답 동동 붙였대 근데 무장대 뭐 속삭한 대보에 라마 끄지를 봐 sen 무는 일이 어디 라마 끄지를 봐 라마가 이 대답 삼는 다 라마 거서 리용 있는 삼는 거를 했지
And so in the Guru devotion practice, we must accomplish the 4 kayas of the Guru. And first there is the Nirmanakaya, and there we see the Guru just like the Buddha Shakyamuni, and we think about the enlightened activities and know all the qualities of the Guru's activities and so on. Then that is the Guru's body, is the Nirmanakaya. The Guru's speech is the Sambhogakaya that arises from realizing the union of creation and completion stages. And that has arisen from the mind, the Guru's mind, which is the Dharmakaya. So the realization of creation and completion stages has arisen from the Guru's mind, the Dharmakaya. The mind is a union of clear awareness and emptiness, or emptiness and compassion. And having cultivated that, the Guru had realized the union of creation and completion stages. And therefore, having realized that, there is no fear of death. One will know that at the time of death, one will eject the consciousness from the Brahma opening, and there is no fear of death. And so, understanding that, one understands that although we have this body in the end will perish. So there is no point in cherishing this body too much, in being so much attached to this body. In the end, this body will be maybe buried under the ground or burned away by the fire or just thrown into a river. But until self-grasping comes to an end, one still continues to experience suffering in the hell realms and elsewhere. And this is how it is taught in many of the scriptures. For example, also there was a story about a beautiful woman who was attached to her body and then she died and was born as a snake who then was attached to this body, and this snake was crawling around in the corpse of that woman, being so attached to the body. So whatever the mind attaches to, that's where it will go, that's where it will abide. So not to be attached is the instruction that we received from the Guru. In the 37 Bodhisattva practices, one line says the most important point, and it says, consciousness the guest will cast aside the guest house of the body. A wise person who hears that will immediately understand what that means. The body is only temporary. It is not really us. It is like a guest house. So we need to take care to some extent. We need to give it food to eat and cover it with clothing. But there must be just enough in order to survive for the body. And apart from that, one lives in contentment. That is the instruction that we receive from the Guru's speech. And the Guru's speech is the Sambhogakaya. That arises from the Guru's mind. That is the Dharmakaya, the union of emptiness and compassion, or the union of creation and completion stages, clear awareness and emptiness. So the ground is a single one. The ground is emptiness. So the mind of the Guru, the ground of that mind, and your own mind actually are the same. The Guru's Dharmakaya is emptiness, and so is your mind emptiness. And so within the Guru's mind, the Guru had realized the union of creation and completion stages. And then the Guru instructs you, now you should cultivate love and compassion. You should practice the Yidam deity. You should practice the union of creation and completion stages. You should gain stability. And then you will realize the nature of your mind. So this is the instruction that we receive. And the Guru instructs us, introduces us to the nature of the mind. For example, it is just like two vases. The two vases seem two separate objects, but the emptiness in one vase and the emptiness in the other one is exactly the same. There is no difference in the emptiness. And to realize that realization is the fourth kaya, the Svabhavika kaya or the essence kaya. So when you realize the nature of your mind, you have simultaneously realized the nature of mind of all the Buddhas in the 3 times. And you realize that the mind of all the Buddhas and your own mind are not distinct. It is just like a vast ocean, and you pick up a drop of water from the ocean. That drop of water has the nature of all the water in the ocean. There's only one such thing called water. So the question has arisen before, is it now, I actually asked the question, is it now one or is it the same? Because in the Tibetan the word sounds almost the same. It's one or the same, which in my mind is not the same, right? And so Rinpoche said there's also a good question, is it one or the same? And so it is neither. It is neither one nor the same. It is neither one nor many. Because if it's the same, then you would have at least 2 objects which are the same. If it's one, it's one. And so the Buddhist view is beyond these extremes of one or many. And to realize that is to realize this Svabhavika kaya. If you say it's many, if you look at an ocean and you pick up a drop of water from the ocean, you can't say it's many because it has the same essence. Then you may say then it's one, but you can't say it's one either because there you have the ocean and then you have the clouds and you have the rain and you have the rivers, and so the water appears in so many different ways. So you can't say it's one. But you also can't say it's many because in the end there's only one such thing called water. So it all has the same essence. And you can't say it's one because water is all over and appearing in different forms. So it's the nature of our mind. It is beyond one and many, beyond the same and beyond being one. And that is how we must realize the nature of the mind of the Guru and oneself. It is taught that in the beginning we rely on the external Guru. In the middle, we rely on the scriptures as the Guru. And in the end, we rely on our own mind as the Guru. So ultimately, we must realize the nature of the mind. The outer Guru, the body which appears to us, is just someone who introduces us to that is called the illustrative guru, who points out the nature of the mind. But once you realize the nature of the mind, that is the actual guru. Then you realize your own nature, and realizing your own true nature, you see this knowing awareness that has always been there. And having realized this awareness, you will unmistakably know what to do and what not to do. So in that way, we must realize the nature of the mind. Through knowing awareness and mindfulness that we realize, we are able to overcome all afflictive emotions and know what to discard and what to adopt. So that is the actual inner guru. Also, when we take the refuge vow, we are introduced to this inner guru. The actual guru or Buddha, the inner Buddha, is your mindful awareness. Who introduced us to that? The Buddha himself. The Buddha said, within all sentient beings is the Buddha. All beings are pervaded by Buddha nature. So some people don't understand that and always separate amongst each other. They say, I'm not a Buddhist, I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, I'm this, I'm that. And even within Buddhism, I'm Sakya, I'm Gelugpa, we make differences. And that is just a sign of not understanding. The mind of someone practicing Sakya and the mind of someone practicing Gelugpa, isn't that the same mind? There is not the slightest difference. So there is no Buddhist or non-Buddhist. Everyone has a mind, and whoever has a mind has the potential to awaken. And there's nothing that transcends that mind. There is no inner and no outer. There is no this or that. So these are just foolish views. In reality, there is just this mind that you must realize, and everyone has a mind. And so to realize the nature of that mind, and to realize that it is a union with the mind of the Guru and all beings, one realizes the Svabhavika Kaya, or the essence Kaya. So in this section, we accomplished in the 4 Kayas of the Guru in this way. We accomplished the 4 Kayas of the Guru relying on devotion to the Guru, remembering the qualities and the mind of the Guru. And then we also say that the Guru is the embodiment of the 9 jewels. And first there is the 3 jewels. When we take the refuge vow, we learn that the Guru is the embodiment of the 3 jewels. And in that context, the Guru's body is the Sangha, the speech is the Dharma, and the mind is the Buddha. Then, in the context of the path, in the context of the Tantric path, we understand the inner 3 jewels, the 3 roots, and the 3 roots are also contained within the Guru. In this context, the Guru's body is the Lama, the speech, the Yidam, and the mind, the Dakini. And then ultimately, as a result, when we realize the nature of the mind, and our mind merges non-dual with the Guru, we realize that the Guru also embodies the three kayas. And here the Guru's body is Nirmanakaya, the speech is Sambhogakaya, and the mind is Dharmakaya. And that, in brief, is contained within your own mind. And when you realize that all that is contained in your own mind, then you realize the Svabhavika or essence kaya. And how it is contained in your own mind is that the empty essence of your own mind is a Dharmakaya, the nature of clear awareness is Sambhogakaya, and the all-pervasive compassion is Nirmanakaya. So to realize your own mind to be inseparable with the mind of the Guru, that is the source of obtaining the qualities of the 9 jewels. So about these, especially the qualities on the 3 kayas, there are many explanations, and also the Khenpo can give you many more teachings on that.
제 상지 상지 고성비로 되는 죽었다고 먹고 당시 다시 용기 삼점을 잡아요. 야. 되면서 담합을 해 담목에 시에는 저 하고 요 말이. 강가리 제보리들 아마 똑똑하게 가len지 보여 봐. 시골에. 아마 똑똑하게 가len지 보여 봐. 시나 강에 오 저가 라마디 자치보리 대답도 시나 들지 라마디 자치보여 봐. 야. 하고나요. 들다 심기 상지 빠따다 보아를 좀 됐다가 등이 쌈dim에 잡아 웃으더니 속버져 뜬고 되네 내 소식은 야와게 나라서 봐 여다 요적지 좀 적지 차이 차와드리고 좀 늦으면 속바 삼지 한정 차이 차와서 차 제일 보고요 봐 뒤 보면 적이 용이 적이 고도 대장 그 적들아 내독이가 포크요 좀 매버서 기둥에 쳐보니 따로 좀 매버서 기 요다 매 싸고 따라 무슨 말하는 같이 기도가 좀 매버서 기 몇번 보는 무슨 조건이 야사나 기본이 야요 생태기 내가 같이는 님발난 지들이 줘봐 진짜 동네 자다가 똑바로 요구요 되는 게 이게 좀 대답을 동네 요구요래 대당주 늘 맡았나? 나디도 맞이나? 나도 보여하면 서로 등에서 연구요래. 대 들고는들이 들다게 가자가 셈때 들지 연구리 기빠래. 야 들지가 쪼거라. 들지 쪼거거다 들다가 셈때 담지 세게 기빠야 마시네. 오 대답 생각대로 등에기 셈지 찍라. 니 동이가 짜와 강에서 오고 동이가 짜와 나지 이제 가이가 씻고 그러니까 이비로 씻고 그러고 소소 나지 이비로 씻고나 얘들 씻고 그래요 됐잖아 오 새끼 사람이 얘네 상계를 샘지 말해 니가 그때 해다 그래 동문에 샘지 찍정 맞아 봐래 잡고 집에 가는 자롱 가을을 나서 뭐 강대 오나요 자롱도 셔서 쳐서 하고 동상부 대박 호대기 밑에 이전에 생기고 꼭 맞아봐 다다 내가 다 잡아야 되더니 나중에 유무고가 내가 유무고가 잡아 대가와 나중에 봐 대신에 다 들지고 똑같아 들다가 생기는 이게 집발이지 내가 처음 자롱 거 집어봐도 못 없잖아 근데 라마라tin 랑아 줘야요 봐 라마라 스나교 봐 랑아 줘이 자식이 근데 라마다 도마도 배웠더니 착히 거래. 대해서는 똑똑하게 용되기에는 라마 교실이 직접 말해 사직이 용되지 죽어도 안 갔다 어차. 사직 것도 용되기에는 로그 작성다 어서 쪼개 잡아다 어서. 무슨 소 통주 계획이 열듯이 봐. 네 답을 일어나다 다 담지 큐람 담지 고성을 담지 나서 그때 그 담지 사지 고성을 놓던 거요. 이러다가 노아를 놓고 가게 고생도 안 하고 고생 겪고요. 저 사실 명은 요구하지 않게 죽거리. 사가 다 한글 가면 다 뭐, 그것도 다 과시 뭐지. 다 빠른 전에, 저거 걸라 전에. 다 빠른 다도 돈이 도도네. 그니 작성다고. 작성도 미들로 말이지. 제가 먹고다 세만들만 내가 차네. 그래 자꾸 나와. 감 아들은 착해요. 저렇게 다또 내로대 대답들이 사실 거성비 문제도 있으나 이 들다들이 들어라. 내라서 보던데들이 뭐지 그 감들이 다또 그요 동대다. 뭐야 그래 제가 사실 그 갖고 용진이 니라서 봤다면 시고에 그 봤다면 시바지 빼놓다가 라포트 다 쭉거지나 들어서 자정 통로 쭉거려야 가리 쭉거려 도저히 통로에 쭉거려 가리 코센 대신 뭐 사지 열해 내가 코레다 꽉차고 또 그러고 속지 자요로 오, 코 대신 뭐 요리 상태는 대신 뭐 서라고 때를 똑같다 그 요리했지나 대다우도 동시나 어떤 나와서 이제 라마를 고고 그래야지 무슨 로마 삼바지 알동 요로 고 뭐들라 그러 나와서 이제 라마를 고봐야지 또 그렇게 또 라마이 가리서는 영랑지에 송세 뭐냐 그랬더니 얘는 또 그렇게 대신 뭐 요게 오 라마레만 대발이면 그 내가 콜레다 꽉 잡고 근데 막 당연히 요래 나진이 저 요래 대다우도 되더니 오 나와서 이제 라마 그것이 이제 되게 김보고 그래 대다우 다는 들이 하고 그래야지
So when we talk about the qualities of the Buddha's three kayas, the qualities of Dharmakaya and Sambhogakaya are inconceivable. And for us beginning practitioners, ordinary beings, these qualities are difficult to conceive of, difficult to understand, to see. So who is really the one who is kind to us from our perspective? It is the Guru who appears in Nirmanakaya form. We must understand this Guru to be very kind to us. The Guru who tames sentient beings is very precious. And when we understand that, we must also understand the nature of those to be tamed, the sentient beings. There are inconceivable sentient beings in the 6 realms of samsara. They experience much suffering, in particular in the lower realms, in the animal, hell, and hungry spirit realms. There's beings with a body and without a body. There's beings with a body so tiny that we cannot see it with our eyes. Scientists can see it. They're very tiny. But once they have a body, they experience happiness and suffering, or pleasure and pain based on that body. And then there's others who do not have a body and they experience even greater suffering. Sometimes people have a doubt about whether there are actually beings without a body, but we can also investigate that. For example, when you sleep at night, you dream, you are doing all kinds of things in your dream, and nobody else sees it but yourself. Your body lies there in the bed and sleeps, and your mind is doing all kinds of things. Just like during the daytime, your mind is deluded, you experience happiness and suffering, fear, thoughts of desire, anger, and so forth. It is the mental body in the dream that experiences daytime experiences, but no one sees that because it's just in your mind. But still, it's your own experience. And so that is the nature of all the sentient beings. They experience things in their mind, their perception. And however, their mind has Buddha nature. Whether they have a body or not, their mind has Buddha nature. For this reason, we say that sentient beings to be tamed actually also are Nirmanakayas. Those who tame and those to be tamed have the same basis of mind. When one realizes that, one sees that even suffering sentient being have that nature. And why they suffer is due to self-grasping. How we overcome self-grasping is through the altruistic mind. Whenever the altruistic mind comes to an end, we realize the nature, self-grasping comes to an end, we realize the nature of the mind, and that is the single ground. And within that single ground, Buddhas and sentient beings really are one. And sentient beings just experience suffering temporarily. And once that is gone, they always are Buddhas on their ground. So in reality, from the ultimate perspective, there actually are no sentient beings. It is like when you have a vast ocean and inside you have countless different ice blocks, maybe as many as some snow mountains, different ice blocks. Still, once they melt, they merge with the ocean. They still have the nature of water. So ultimately, samsara and nirvana cannot be taken apart. Ultimately, sentient beings do not exist. Only temporarily, due to self-grasping and afflictive emotions, they are confused and experience different types of suffering, which all has its root in self-grasping. So the one who tames and those to be tamed have a single ground. Only temporarily sentient beings' mind has become a frozen ice block. When we realize the mind of the Guru, we will be liberated as we absorb the blessings of the Guru. So, when we talk about the Nirmanakaya qualities of the Guru, it is in fact not just the Guru, not just this one being, but it is everywhere, because it arises from the Dharmakaya that abides like space. And from the Dharmakaya appears the Sambhogakaya, which is like a rainbow, and from, also clouds, and then from the clouds the rain appears. They are Nirmanakayas, and that we can actually see them with our eyes. But it is taught that in reality, all phenomena of samsara and nirvana are contained within the three kayas. So therefore, also the 6 realms of samsara are nirmanakayas, part of the 3 kayas. We can say that the 5 elements are nirmanakaya emanations. That we learn when we practice pure view in secret mantra. We transform impure perception into pure perception, which we then transform into emptiness. So the pure forms of the deities appear like rainbows in the sky as a union of appearance and emptiness. When we attain enlightenment, we do not just disappear, but we destroy the grasping at a concrete reality, and from that we create the Pure Lands. So the ultimate result is the realization of the 3 kayas contained within your own mind stream. And when we realize that, we understand the actual relation, that connection that we have to the Guru. And realizing the inseparable union of your mind and the mind of the Guru is to realize the essence kaya or svabhavika kaya. So because of that, we can say that the entire universe and all sentient beings in reality are nirmanakayas. Saying that, we would also have to say animals are nirmanakayas. And so one may have thoughts about that. How can you say that that poisonous snake there is a nirmanakaya? It's because that snake also has Buddha nature. And whoever has Buddha nature is a Buddha emanation. And so it is only that due to temporary habitual patterns and karma that we have created that body, like the body of a snake. But still, that snake has Buddha nature. Whoever has a mind, whoever has Buddha nature, whoever has a mind has Buddha nature, and whoever has that is a nirmanakaya. So if you understand that, we will perceive everything that appears as the Guru. There was one retreatant that we have in Arizona, a girl, and when she heard that all appearances are the Guru, she said that, but in front of my heart there's always this snake, and I'm really afraid of this snake. How can I see this as the Guru? Because it will kill me. But still, this snake has Buddha nature. And for this reason, because the snake has Buddha nature, it is not beyond the Guru anywhere. Only due to temporary imprints and karmas, it has taken on this form that causes harm towards others due to a dualistic grasping, but in reality it still has Buddha nature, and whatever has Buddha nature is the appearance of the Guru. So through cultivating a pure view, we begin to understand Buddha nature. It pervades all sentient beings.
lama gebi shini tamchila, thoma ni. Gebi shini chung kare, chi kare che, tel tak che tama. Soso paa che gebi shini che takar lamna di mayi ma, teni takar. Lama di te che, lama di te che no. Teni tawa ni teni soso ke de. Soso ke, yu tapo kaa tapsu ke. Chung tani soso chung tama marwa. 소소 보고 예외신이 잘해서 뭐 쳤대. 랑게 제일 담아서 나도 저게 랑 타와 토비체 예외신이 뒤로 탈락도 되는 말아. 제일진이 그런지 개발도 톱탐치 강래. 오 피바다 대화들 저저 준비해서 피바다 강리 동다 종로 제 삼지 타마 잡으려면 지금 요래. 잡을 것도 독해라지 서래. 또 타동 잡고래. 그거 가리송 그래. 그거는 매통 심판이 제가 잡으려면 납자요지. 즉 졸라면 라마 같이抓起了. 나는 매통 심판이 제가 잡으려면 납자요지 잡혀라. 오늘 은혜 양선에서 사족선만 탑이고 잡으려면 가리. 야, 대령 또 잡아서 동동 짜라 사만 포송. 자가 사만 고소. 딱 콜라 말이지. 강리. 나 나도 좀 이런 게 유마성 주제 사만 고소. 다른 주마지라 저래서 돼요. 오, 고소. 되는 나 다부 고소도 많고 내들 루파 공도. 루파 공도 말이지. 너와 같이 했다는 되게 줄라. 너와 같이 했다는 고소래라 그요. 고소래는 때 루파 내리고 고소도 약고 많이 오시는. 또 고소 매가 차도 저는 자세라리 소비는 가리서 게을로도 자세라스 노지 탐지를 시제 탐 통세 또 톡하고 되고 제다는 놈이 참을라만 지도요. 나와 라마들은 소지 제다고 고고요. 다른 지위는 왜 대성으로 오 영마부터 톱는 개봤댔을 봐. 말라빠는 개빠는 탈수바 소리 미리 말해야지. 말라빠는 꿈치도 노래 준비에 가라 내지 사자게 쏘면 돼. 말라빠는 꿈치 요래 말라에 빼야 법종마오 간 개요 말이야.
사자빼나 가서서
사자빠게 말라빠는 꿈치도 노래 준비에 가라 되지. 법종마오에서는 개빠서 차오르세 준비에다만 주말에서 사자 가빠져라 하고 손에. 말라빨라 꿈치도 노래 집에 가라 내인지 가만차라 얘는 성묘를 했어 지금은 그 가요 말하면 답은 개바 차요로 하지 공부성을 꼭 가르쳐 제 로드 제바 도당제 보동을 했어 작은 바 땅한테 도다고 보도지를 했어 다 줘봐고 그거야 땅 많이 가요 겹겹 죽고 짜했어 많이 봐, 매화들 뛰고 많이 가요, 자오나? 그냥 고소라고 요라. 양들을 줘봐, 보내고. 나도 채들은 이 밭에 매네, 끼야, 아마 적절히, 내전 남반에 밖에. 들이 이 밭 누구요? 다 같이 이 밭 가요면 동항은 누구요라. 저는 막 몇띠도 밭하고 썼나? 다들 공로는 이 밭 토리 이 밭 적용이요. 저는 줘봐, 공소다지. 손도 좀 자세라니 소비면 공가. 참아, 빈도지. 이 동시소는 답이 줄이 시소나 사족센터 노동 용통지 용띠를 줬다고 요래서 사족센터면은 용띠 답이 주는 요래 다 사족센터는 주 도만이 예우신이 때를 딱게 또 때를 딱게 때를 건댔지 예우신이 뒤주고 랑야와나 같은 거 올라다 가보비에 송요 목이 마시나 추지 맞게는 추지 삶이 송도로 열었어. 라마지가 때 가요. 라마지 때 하고 말이지. 라마장이 파쇼를 짬비 도마 주소를 바로 개디우고 공도 뽑고요. 야. 대마다 개비지 종대지가 주고 봤던데 대라. 뒤쪽으로 요리 대라 그봐 뭐가 요리지 남양설이 가다때 대봤던 거라. 걔 노고리 취지해서. 뭐? 미소로 노고리 취지해서. 되게 중요한 거 노고리 미소나. 개비신이를 그 봤다면 삼매 바사버리 되지 봤지도 지금 진짜 개비신이들 대밤을 봐도 라마 보마 봐라. 독생 땅. 추바 봐라. tuk바점 라마 봐라. tuk바점. 생기 망봉이 돌로 또 저주는 데려다 가보고서 추추지 맞대로 추저사람이 봉도로 줘야지. 추좀 마시면 대바다 다낭이나 추좀해야 되도록 인가 연구요래. 멍시 봐도 대다고 따고래. 얘는 다낭기는 소수생때 다하고 그러면 그것도 다하고 마다하고 도다요 말이야. 소수생 다 주시라고 쌍아빠는 쳐들을 갈라주고 쳐는 마마끼리 살을 까린지 모르 사제끼만 사제를 또 빨아주리 살을 뛰는 무구째가 요리 쳐를 뛰는 무구째가 요리 열심히 파쇼라 미사마라고 포탕제 빠오래 못함제 가보래 야 샘제 신이고요 포닝제 진들은 어디 지내드는 일이 지내드 니제로 왔어 몽 니제 진인데 예tin 좀 알아 왔어 니제 진으로 왔어 그래서 사초 생각했지는 파마마디 봐 소요래 동당 사축 생각했는데 대신 좀 보면 서래 오늘 좀 요래 좀 가래 좀 온당 로를 좀 해도 사진 좀 되더니 좀 내들라고 말아 좀 내들라면은 오늘 좀 강해서 좀 로를 말했어 로를 해당성 타도 해당 타도 강해서 나딘이서 다 너미게 따라 다니들이 저 첫곡 좀 한번 유무 봐도 다니는데 가다지는 요대요 제 요바테 냄발 맞지 로를 말해 남도 도저들은 고로랑은 대시서 고생될 줄 몰라 유무 봐요 말았어 로를 찌는지 뭘 코데다 되는 나라로 산이 요 말해 들이당도 비중이야 그 맞이는 똑같다는 용도요 말았지 대답도 시스템이 나와 사제be 줄을 대답을 동네 대화를 줬다가 중디도 줬다가 밤에 다낭을 줬다가 때문에 hin기를 줬다가 대답을 퍼뜨리는 것들이 라면 의형들이 다낭사하 다낭을 드리는 요리 애들이 답을 남아야 대답을 지나 라면은 무지에 다낭 계고 요래 대답을 맞지나 무슨 개인지게 송 이게 안 가지고 콩또 톱이 뭐 자체가 이쪽으로 콩송 라면 눈에 제거나 때또 사도 지난지 라마요 말이지 나가요는 맞고 라면 용기 콩을 요 매기 너걸로 다 때또 사도 지 독이요 말이지 콩 말씀
Thank you.
이게 안
I'm 미쳐봐.
라면 용기 뭐야 콩을 사봐요 말이지 용사시대 게다 쳐보러 용사시대 짜버란 말이에요 대통령사들이 다 몇이 너걸로 다 콜이 독이요 말이지 콩고 버탄제를 때라고라 라마디 버려서 얘는 다 라마디 몇이 너걸로 콩이 독이요 말이다 라마세 꽂혀도 다 맞독자에 막 야사자리에서 라마세들이 라마 콩을 yapıyorlar.
Lama sedin lavre.
lampoyorlar. 공시 라마래. 공시 라마래. 당나와 친구를 사시오. 공 얘기는 마냥도 패돌라. 마냥 패돌라. 마냥도 패니 이 소리. 라마 장군의 또 사도기를 장군 말이지. 몇이 도고는 또 사도기 독도 요 말이 다 저런 몇도 어디 막다 주대. 들으려고 고도 돌아 딱딱하게. 알았어.
Yeah. And so from our perspective, we still have just cultivated some really small devotion to the Guru. And in fact, when we first meet the Lama, the first thing we do is we try to find the fault. We see that, let's see what is wrong with this Guru. Let's investigate him. Let's see what he has to say. And we investigate in this way. And then we observe and we say, let's see what that one is doing and look at what that one is doing. And so we point at the faults. We're trying to find the faults of the Guru. In fact, what needs to be purified is our own mind stream. We are not the ones who come to purify that Guru's mind stream. We are supposed to purify our own mind stream. However, when we meet Gurus, due to our own faults, we try to find the fault in the Guru. What we really must grasp at is the word that we hear from the Guru, the instructions. We must purify our own mind stream because we must liberate our own mind stream. We are not liberating the Guru's mind stream. We must liberate our own mind stream. All the past masters have said the root Guru is the cause of all benefit, source of all benefit and happiness. In this world there was a great Mahasiddha, one of the greatest masters in this world, Tangtong Gyalpo. And he, when asked how many Gurus do you have, he replied, I have a whole range from up to low of 500 root Gurus. So he had cultivated perfect pure view. Even the worst person, even if they would come and steal everything and he lost everything, he would say, this is my Guru because I have cultivated attachment to my things, and now I have an opportunity to release this attachment now that all my things are gone. Otherwise, I would have never practiced the Dharma. So it was actually of great benefit. And when I get angry at that person, then I have an opportunity to practice patience. So no matter how much others try to harm me, every time I get angry, every time I have an opportunity to practice patience. Every time I practice patience, anger decreases, and in the end, I have no more anger. So in that way, one should perceive everyone one encounters, as it is taught in the 37 practices. For those who aspire the treasure of virtue, all those who do harm are like a precious treasure. So that is why Tangtong Gyalpo had perceived everyone as a Guru. From the one hand, we say there's that one special person who is the Guru, but from a different perspective, we can actually perceive anyone as a teacher. Then there was another master, Jigme Lingpa, in the Nyingma tradition, a greatly accomplished master, and he was renowned for not having engaged in much studying. He was just an accomplished master. And Rinpoche said, as a side note, Sakya Pandita tried to refute him, and he said that as an omniscient one, a practitioner who has not studied, cannot show the path of karma to others. So he refuted that, but however, Jigme Lingpa really was an accomplished master and had realized the nature of mind. And so he was an example of having practiced perfect patience. No matter how much harm one would receive, he would practice patience. Sometimes, as it is also said in the 37 practices, even if we have not done the slightest thing wrong, and other people accuse us for doing negative things, and then normally we react with anger to that, but then he practiced patience. Even if others try to harm you and accuse you, even if you have not done anything wrong in this life, then you would understand maybe in a past lifetime I must have done something wrong. We can see these days many people are in prison, although they have not done anything wrong in this life. So it is really our own karma that has created all that. So the 37 Bodhisattva practices, that verse on patience is really very beneficial. If one really understands the meaning of the Dharma and has cultivated bodhicitta, one can transform faults into qualities. If one lacks bodhicitta, one will transform qualities into faults. Then we begin to investigate, for example, a guru, and we say, well, look at that guru, and he's doing bad things, and he's not authentic. And then we tell that to other people, and then other people cultivate wrong views. And as a result of that, that other person is sent to the hell realm due to the wrong view. And who has created that? It was you, because you persuaded them. So you will go to the hell realms together. Gampopa said, if you do not practice the Dharma according to the Dharma itself will become cause for falling into the lower realms. So when we try to investigate the gurus and say they're doing bad things, they're not authentic gurus, that actually is very detrimental. In fact, not even talking about gurus' qualities, in fact, anyone who has taken the refuge vow becomes a noble sangha, and we should not look at their faults once we have taken, in particular, the refuge vow. Because when we begin to speak about the faults of others, other people hear that, and then they lose their faith. And if they lose their faith, you are the one who caused that. If they lose their faith, they go to the lower realms, and you will also go, because you caused them to do so. So therefore it is that to denigrate a spiritual master is even greater than one of the heinous crimes, the worst negativities one can do. Because we are trying to turn others away from their faith. We are stirring up problems between people. And when Dharma friends in particular begin to quarrel with each other, there's conflict and they are fighting, then all of them will go to the lower realms. And that is why Gampopa said, if you practice the Dharma not in accordance with the Dharma itself will become the cause for falling to lower realms. So if we know the Dharma, but if we do not know how to practice the Dharma well, and if we practice the Dharma without faith and pure view, there is a great danger. When we cultivate pure view, we are doing that in order to purify our own mind stream. In fact, we are not investigating whether others are really pure or not. Pure view is for the sake of purifying your own mind stream. And leaving aside even masters, spiritual masters, if we train in pure view, even the elements, we will see them as pure. For example, when you see water, you will see it as the Dakini Mamaki. When you see earth, you will not just see it as normal earth, but you will see it as the Dakini Buddha Lochana. So whatever you see, earth or water, any of the elements, you will have pure view and see it as a deity. Not even talking about actual spiritual masters. Moreover, you will see all male and female beings in this world as Dakas and Dakinis. And that is because they have Buddha nature. And if they have cultivated compassion, you will see all males to be Chenrezig and all females to be Tara. From a conventional perspective, there is not a single sentient being who has not been your parents. So again, there is a chance to practice pure view. From an ultimate perspective, there is no one who does not possess Buddha nature. So again, we find nothing impure in reality, neither from a conventional nor an ultimate perspective. And so still sentient beings have certain faults. However, the Buddha said sentient beings are obscured by temporary stains. The Buddha did not say beings have no faults. They do have faults, but these faults are temporary. And therefore, there is no basis of grasping at these faults. Sentient beings give rise to anger and jealousy, which are all rooted in self-grasping. But all these are just temporary faults, and in the end, if you look inside your own mind stream, you will find the same afflictive emotions and self-grasping. So, of course, other people also have these emotions and self-grasping. And still, although we all have that, there is no need to grasp at its reality because it is fleeting. For example, if you have a friend and today you have an argument, you get angry with each other, that person still has Buddha nature. And although today he is angry, it is just temporary. tomorrow it will be gone again. It comes and it goes, so there's nothing to hold on to. And if you do not grasp at a temporary emotion that arises, there will be no conflict between you and other people. So that is the special quality of the Buddha's teachings. We transform suffering into happiness and faults into qualities. Ideally, through cultivating pure view, or at least through cultivating compassion. But through these practices, we really begin to understand the actual meaning of secret mantra, where we learn that we must cultivate devotion and pure view. For example, also there was another great master, Nyanga Rinpoche, also an accomplished master. He lived to more than 80 years. And he said, one time when we sat together, he said to me, there is no Lama greater than the Derten, Öser and Dorje. There's no one who has greater qualities than that. But at the same time, there is no one with a worse behavior than him. So a normal person who would see him would think this is an outrageous person. However, his qualities were inconceivable. And this master actually also is the root guru of a famous Lama Tsongtsa Khyentse Rinpoche. So he seemed to be an misbehaved person. However, because his father said that about him, that his conduct, although he was very misbehaved, he really had extraordinary qualities.
주민도 라면 이렇게 이제서는 대양동도 없나 라마 제압이야 참 되게 오 라면 샘다라고 주의식은 오원이야 봐 라마 주의식이 뛰고 오지는 공발해 남바들 라마 주의식을 진짜라고 샘이 봐 하고 그래 오 라그 샘때 메롱나 주의식 우리 라면서 우리 살기 지금 나또 가라고 그러는데 내가 나또 가 마음껏 나또 그러지 제일 말이다 막 샘사동을 하면 이게 샘사동을 라마 살대요 대하고는 되니 그게 뒤까지 오다 대신에 뭐든 주문을 다 나왔더니 사진이 집에 라마를 집에 로마 그리고 고대지 와서 이제 봐 아티 내려오더래서 라마는 내 시계야 다 뒤만 많이 본 거지 라마 같이 예미도 뒤까지 라마 오니 거서 이세 라마 통되네요 대바다 물이 열대 동네들랑 생각 라마니 타면 돼봐 대마들랑 생각 고맙기다 당신 들어와요 와 이 손들이 주만만 입은 먹었어 주민이 먹었어 대가지 때는 생각 내로 라마리 운동 가리는가 고마 차담 보고요래 먹으면 다 똑같대 그때는 다 먹으들이 참이야 그래지 참 먹으들은 이자더라 하고 좀 몸에 좀데 이만 많이 먹을 때 맞게 받더니 라마 양대형 주인 라마 형 주인 사지 것을 주인 사지기 주인 사지 가운데 라마는데 라마 가는데 라마 꼴하는데 쏘는데 라마 톡는데 다 톡더니 라마지 잡도 사지 나게 해도 라마 센터 사지 좀 타버려 하고 그래 전 좁아질 때 좀 라마다라시 사지에서 집도 똑같은 남자라 주민을 사점에서 나사 밑에 남자 로레데 무대에서 제고서 저거지 좀
So now today we don't have so much time left. We have to stop at 4:30 today, but there's still a little bit to talk about left behind. And so we have talked about devotion before, and there is the